Hello, and welcome to my bench. My name is Drew, and today I'm going to show you how to build this P-40B Revell that has some definite fitment issues. It's an older kit, needs some TLC, but I'm going to show you how I managed to fill it and make it look reasonably smooth and acceptable, at least to the first coat of paint. So here we're fitting an aftermarket cockpit that I built for this project. So I've got to trim away quite a bit of this the original plastic. One of the feedbacks that I had read online about this particular kit before I started it was that it had a notoriously inaccurate cockpit, and I thought, well, I need to create some content regarding creating aftermarket parts. So I've got another video out there, and you can take a watch of it and see how I built the cockpit. So, all right, so what I'm using here is a scribing tool so that I can center the drill consistently on the exhaust tubes, and I'm basically creating drilled out exhaust tubes here, and then I come back with my hand and on much larger bits so that I don't blow out the sides, to make the wall of the exhaust as thin as possible, and then I just repeat that along down the whole string, and you can see the little punch holes there. And then there's the completed run, and now we're ready to install it. Looks pretty good, all drilled out. That should paint up quite nicely. Just a dab or two of Tamiya Extra Thin. And now we're ready to put in the modified cockpit. So just a couple drops of CA glue to get us started. And off camera I shot that with a little activator to speed that up. Doing a little test fit here. Hey, there's my cat Sadie. She'd sure appreciate a like from me if you enjoy this type of content. So yeah, we'll go ahead and put in a generous amount of CA glue on the inside now and marry the two halves together. And I hope to teach you a few little tricks, at least that I use. They served me quite well. And also you'll get to experience, I purchased a camera lens to help make better videos. So the second half of this video, you'll at least get to see some shots where I've used a little better camera lens. I think it provides a little better pictures. So we'll be using a bit of both, my cell phone and the camera lens. That's what I can afford to do right now. So here's one of my little tricks. So I shot that with activator and used a little dot of CA glue, and I make the dot pretty big so that I can knock it off. That makes it easier to where I don't have to go tape or clamp the parts together. It's pretty easy to knock that off after it's been activated. And here I'm using some Sprue Goo, which I basically just made from Tamiya Extra Thin and then melted over the course of several days. Variety of sprue parts into that. And these are ejector pin marks that are quite noticeable and quite large, and I'm filling those in. And these will be a bit of a challenge. It's one of the aspects of this kit that definitely needs some TLC. Here I'm using a file, and there you can see me just carving off that CA glue simply with the hobby blade. I like to start each model build with a brand new number 11 hobby blade, and I also use a brand new number 4 surgical scalpel blade. I always start off with new and sometimes even switch in the middle. So this is Mr. Surfacer 500. It's been well shaken, and I apply it with a brush so that I can put it on pretty thick. This is to fill in the file marks and sanding marks, and also fill in any micro gaps that I may have missed. I really do not like to have seam marks in my models where they don't belong, and I don't mind coming back and carving in details. So this is something that I use quite a bit, a technique that I use over and over again. And this model definitely had some pretty rough seam marks. And again, it's a pretty old kit. Now this is my new camera lens. I hope you like it. If you do, please leave me a comment. And I'll try to film more from this angle and using this lens. Yeah, so we're wet sanding, so I've just taken various grits, 400, 600, 800, 1000, etc. and glued them onto coffee stirrers. And here we're trimming off the sprue goo, and we'll be sanding it down. So again, just using water, kind of wet sanding that, trying to preserve as much detail. So I've got this sped up a little bit so you can't hardly really see my hand move, but I'm going pretty slow to try to stay away from those details and carefully carving with that surgical scalpel so that I maintain, again, as much detail as possible on these parts, because I don't really want to have to come back and create them. This is, again, I've broken record now, but this is a much older kit, so it's raised panel lines. But I see a great amount of value in these older kits. Not only are they somewhat nostalgic for someone that's in their 50s or older, but in addition to that, they allow you to actually show your skill as a modeler. I don't get me wrong, I love the new Airfix kits, the new Tamiya kits. They have just excellent build quality. They go together just so nice. At least many of them do anyway. There's others, Bang and others that do as well. But at the same time, they don't always let you utilize some of these other skills. And so I'm in this because I enjoy building and just, the artistic creation of this. So I sometimes enjoy doing these vintage kits and seeing how nice I can make them, especially since I definitely did not have the skills when I first built these at age 12 or 10 or wherever I was when I started. So I think it's just good to approach kits from that perspective. And if you're a new modeler and you're trying to learn these techniques, I think I probably paid $15 for this kit, which in today's day and age, show me another hobby where you can spend $15 and get this much enjoyment, literally weeks of enjoyment building this out. Okay, so what we're doing here is putting on the machine guns housing. This is another area where this kit had some serious fitment issues. So I trimmed it up, and then I came back with sprue goo to fill it in, and it turned out pretty good. And when we're fitting the other side, I'm kind of a stickler, so I get out and I measure down to as millimeter accurate as I can be on that to make sure that they're aligned in parallel. Just kind of ready to fit the wings together. There's some parts we assembled off camera. Basically, this kit has flaps that can be positioned in the up or down position, and you can kind of move them at will. So got the mechanisms set up for that internally. Now, this is one area on wings where I do not use my CA glue trick. I've found that I can change the shape of the wing if I'm not careful when I'm carving that away, so I just tend not to do that and just stick with the traditional clothespin and lots of pressure method. But these wings actually went together pretty well. And the fit here wasn't terrible. It was a little challenging. There's some gaps that are that shouldn't be there, and we're gonna fill those with sprue goo. The wings also had quite a bit of flex, and I was a little worried about them breaking. I typically would have just filled this with Vallejo putty that's water-based. It's much easier to work with. But in this particular case, I had some structural concerns about the plane, and as such, I went ahead and used the sprue goo so that I could guarantee the structural integrity of the wing to the fuselage. And then you'll see later on in the video, I will actually end up using the Vallejo putty as a final. All right, since I used an aftermarket cockpit, I wanted to have the transition of the cockpit to the outer fuselage be as smooth and natural looking as possible. So that required me building some green stuff and then molding that in. And so that's the process that I'm going through now. And I will have to paint this later, so this will be in another video. But right now we're getting it trimmed and fit, and I'll sand it down some later. But a lot of this cockpit will actually be covered, and there'll be quite a bit of sanding and actual additional primer and paint. So I'm just carefully using the edge of the scalpel blade to remove the excess sprue goo, creating a nice seam there. But it's not perfect. I ended up going a little too deep in a couple places. It's all fine. It's just kind of part of it. And the Vallejo product is so much easier to use. So I'm just kind of using some Mr. Surfacer 500 here on the parts that required a lot of sprue goo and sanding, so that I can fill and get a sense of just how bad they were. So I like to spray those on pretty thick. I usually let them dry for several hours, if not overnight. And then I'll come back and see how bad they were. So this is actually the next day, and I apologize for this being out of focus. Somehow I didn't notice the corner of my lamp there, so the camera wanted to focus on that. But now that we've got all of the parts identified and sanded down, we're ready to come back with Mr. Surfacer 1500 and give the whole model just a light coat. And I did a really sloppy job of masking off the cockpit. And the reason for that is this is actually a camo airplane, so it's not as picky as one that would be a solid color. And this is that putty that I was talking about. The nice thing about this putty is it's water-based, so you can actually clean it up and create a pretty smooth line with some water here. So I'm being a little rough, but I'll come back and clean that up later. Alright, now we're going to paint the bottom side with Mr. Surfacer 1500. I wanted to make sure to paint on the inside of the flaps. I still haven't decided, so the bottom of this plane is kind of like a sky blue gray, I guess I would say, just based off of some little bit of reading that I've done on it thus far. But obviously the inside of the flaps are going to be a chromate, so I'll probably paint that, and then I'll paint the inside of the flaps next. This is just water and a cotton swab, and then I came back with a sanding sponge and got rid of the rest of the Vallejo and got that all smoothed out. And then we're going to put our final thick coat, brush coat of Mr. Surfacer 500 on again. Again, these gaps were chasmous. That would be the word I would describe, a bit of Grand Canyon-like. So didn't expect to get them correct on the first try. In the end, you'll see with the photo at the end, you'll see that they filled quite well and everything looks good. You just have to be willing to put in the effort. If you're a type of modeler that doesn't want to put in this level of effort, this is probably not a kit for you. And if you're somebody that doesn't care about this stuff, then absolutely you can do it. So here we're going to mix a custom green color because the correct color is on order but it hasn't arrived, and I'm just basically trying to get a base coat down so I can make sure everything that I've done up to this point looks good. So don't worry too much that the color's not perfect. It's on its way, and it will be in the next video. Just a nice way to finish the video is with a clean, smooth paint job to show off all of that work. And there you go. You can see that I'll have to come back and add a little bit of detail on the wings, but generally speaking, we don't have these huge chasms. There's no big gaps in the machine gun housing or around the engine cowl. So looks good. Just want to thank you for watching, and if you don't mind, like, comment, and subscribe, and hope you have a blessed day.